going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Monday Night Raw. Hold on. Yep, now you can get the full picture. Review. uh, this Monday Night Raw it was okay. It's okay follow up to Monday Night Raw. To Survivor Series War Games. Like most pay-per-view Raws after pay-per-views, it had the little clean-up matches for the pay-per-view, and pretty much at least it did end some feuds and start new ones, but let's get into that. Just never mind. I was about to say I don't think there was any, returns this Raw. We haven't got one since in a minute, but they started off with Becky Lynch, and she came out the cut. I forgot she didn't return to Monday Night Raw. She returned on SmackDown, and she was basically came out and said she was happy to. The man was happy to be back on Monday Night Raw in their town, and that she's the man of the people. She went and jumped in the crowd, got talked to two random fans, one by the name of Bobby, and got a Bobby chat going. And but basically talked about how good it felt to come back and win at War Games. And then Bayley came out basically talking about how she doesn't like the fact that the people chant for her, chant for chant for Becky like that, where she's been the one in the last 4 months putting in the work, having awesome matches and stuff, and yet they don't chant for her the way they chant for Becky. And Becky reminded Bayley that maybe it's probably because in all those matches that you had in the 4 months since you've been back, you lost all of them. You won a couple, but you lost. And maybe that's why they don't chant like that for you. But it will break down to where they into a brawl, but not with Bianca. I keep saying Bianca. Not with Bayley at first, because Bayley was in the ring, but you saw in the crowd where Becky was at, you saw Dakota Kai and Io Sky come down. So she went and brawled with them first, and then Bayley followed suit. They brawled into the area where they sell like the T-shirts and stuff at, and pretty much got separated. That's what I meant by like they started some new feuds. Like even though Damage Control is pretty much done with Bianca for the. That's why I keep trying to say Bianca for Bianca at the moment. They look like now their focus is on Becky. We got the first match of the night, which was supposed to be Rhea Ripley versus Mia Yim. This was supposed to be like the little settlement feud before them, and it was an okay match. It felt like the crowd wasn't too into it, but it broke down to where because of because of what was going on with the OC and Judgment Day. Dominic was down in ringside, and his distractions caused the OC to come down along with the rest of Judgment Day, and this would break down, and the match was restarted as an 8-person tag. The OC with me and Young versus the Judgment Day with Rhea Ripley, which just should have been the original match, and in the first place, but whatever. But that it is what it is. The match was good in itself. It had some great spots, but ultimately, the Judgment Day got the victory over the OC. Hopefully, this is the end. It can look like for the Judgment Day, the OC battle. I don't know for sure, but it looked like this should be the end of it. We got We got the Bloodline coming out next, sans Roman Reigns. I think it was everybody but Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. Basically cutting the promo about their victory over and at Survivor Series War Games, and the fact that they are a united front, no more cracks. Even Jay is even on board, and Sammy cut a promo saying, on his part, he's saying that he's so happy how Jamie always treated him, and the fact that how for the last months or so Jay has never trusted him, and they've been having their problems, but finally Jay had embraced him and accepted him, and he was happy for that. And him and Jay basically embraced each other in the ring again, and had like a group hug. They tried to get Solo into it, but Kevin Owens would come out, and Kevin Owens would come out to surprisingly because Sami Zayn thought he was coming out to try to beat him up and whatnot, but Kevin Owens said, "You know what? No, I'm not angry. I didn't come out here to be angry and try to fight you. I actually came out to do the opposite, to tell you that I actually understand it. I'm okay with what you did because he said, Lord knows, and since they've been in the company together, all he has done is stabbed and betrayed Sami Zayn. So it wasn't like he didn't deserve what Sami Zayn did to him, and that." He's glad for him that he's found his place, and that the crowd get the finally so the proper respect and admiration that Sami Zayn deserves, because they get to see that Sami Zayn is one of the best wrestlers, and he's glad that the crowd get to actually finally give you what you deserve and that respect that you deserve. But that in the end, I don't want to have nothing to do with you. I don't want to fight you. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to ride the roads with you no more. He said, I'm done. But Jay would stand up for Sammy and basically challenge. Kevin Owens challenged Jay to a match later on in the evening, which will be the main event, by the way. We got the returning Street Profits versus the Alpha Academy. I think they had like a little early in the night type promo where there was an interview about their return, and the Alpha Academy would interrupt that interview, which would set up that match. Would set up this match, and they had an actually pretty good match. I liked Alpha Academy and the Street Profits in the match, because they always, you could guarantee that, or almost guarantee that their matches are going to be good. And this was no exception. The match here was good, a good showing for both Montez and Angelo Dawkins. And Montez and Angelo Dawkins, the Street Profits, would get the victory here over the Alpha Academy in a pretty good match, tag team match. We got Austin Theory cutting his promo, which is basically the same one he's been cutting about. I'm no longer the future this, the future that, or whatever. He basically was saying that he was basically the greatest because he defeated both Bobby and Seth Rollins at the same time to become the new United States champion, and that he doesn't no longer wants to be called the Kid. The promo was good though. He did mention how he felt vindicated after everybody was calling him stupid and said that he had the worst. Had the stupidest and worst cash in ever, and that he feels vindicated now that because of him winning the championship, he doesn't no longer care about that, don't want to hear it no more. And like I said, he doesn't want to be called Kid, but Seth Rollins will come out, get in his face, and basically try to egg him on, calling him Kid, and said that he just lucked into being the United States champion, that he's still a kid. And Austin Theory did say that he will fight Seth Rollins, but on the champ's time, and that he's not his kid, and walked away. But he was still, you could tell he was visibly upset by Seth Rollins multiple times, calling him a kid, and he went up to the top of the ramp and held up his championship as the Seth Rollins music plays. We got the next match of the night, which is Dexter Lumis versus The Miz in a Anything Goes match. I forgot that if Dexter, the stipulation was that Dexter Lumis when he get. I can't try. Why was Miz carrying a bag of money? But I forgot the stipulation was that in this anything goes match that if Dexter Lumis win, he not only he get the rest of the money that the Miz owed Dexter Lumis, but Dexter Lumis also get a contract. And the match itself was good. But it was like for anything goes match, it could have been better. That was like the only problem. Other than that, the match was fine. It needed for anything goes match. It could have been a little bit more hardcore. But in the end, Dexter Lumis got the victory over the Miz. It was some great spots. It did have some great somewhat spots like with tables and weaponry and stuff like that. But like I said, for anything goes match. It was kind of like underwhelming when it came to anything goes. But in the end, Dexter Lumis would win and get the victory, get a WWE contract, and sign his WWE contract, and he would get his money, and he would he'd get like $100 bill to kids and stuff, and the Miz try to I like the fact that I will give him that. I like the fact that the Miz attacked him and to try to take his money, try to take the bag of money back, and like the last person that the last kid that Dexter Lumis gave a $100 bill to, the Miz said, "I'm gonna take that, thank you." But then he'll get attacked by Johnny Gargano, who would give Dexter Lumis back the money, and he would give the $100 bill that he was in his hand. He would give that back to the last kid again. And at first I thought that it was like fake money, but it was actually real. Like he really was giving kids like real $100 bills. So I think for the purpose of that segment, I think like it really was like fake money in there, but it was a real couple of $100 bills for that's why he was only giving it to kids, because he was giving kids real money. But like I said, it was for the most part it was enjoyable. I'm just glad to see this feud end. We got Candice LeRae, who basically was being stalked earlier. She did have like an earlier promo, and she was being stalked by Nikki Cross. So I think her new feud will be with Nikki Cross. But here she had a match with Dakota Kai, and the story was that Io Sky and Bayley couldn't be at ringside because they wasn't medically cleared. That's why Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka couldn't be at ringside as well because they wasn't medically cleared. And speaking of which, before I get to this match, they did have a backstage promo where there was being an interview about Survivor Series War Games, and the story was that Alexa Bliss was kind of out of it because during that when the interviewer introduced them, quick. Bray Wyatt's logo popped up on the TV screen right behind Alexa Bliss, and soon after that, Alexa Bliss just went into almost like a stare trance. Like she was just looking down, like she just was lost in thought, and like she basically blanked out the whole interview because when they went to go talk to her, she just was like, "Oh yeah, what Bianca says is right. We beat Damage Control and everything's over with." Like. She snapped out of it. But yeah, Dakota Kai and Candice LeRae had a good match. I'm not gonna say it wasn't. It was a good co-main event, and Candice LeRae and Dakota Kai really went the distance and really got the proper distance it should have to give Candice LeRae that rebuild. And Candice LeRae would win with a twisted neck breaker off the top rope and pin Dakota Kai. My only problem here is that Damage Control is a good group. That is a good thing going, but because maybe there's too many good groups on Raw. But I don't know. I feel like Damage Control really needs some big wins at this point. But yeah, a main event, which was KO versus Jay Uso. The thing here too is, I forgot earlier there was a promo with Matt Riddle and Elias, and basically they got interrupted by the Usos because the Usos in the Bloodline because they overheard Riddle saying that him and Elias should go after the tag team titles, and Elias at first wasn't considering it because he said he usually a solo act up until when the Bloodline interfered, and he basically because of the interference he was like, you know what, I'm all for it, and they wanted to challenge them, and they said they would gladly put up the titles anytime, anywhere, and then at this point in the main event, it was announced that it will happen next week. But yeah, Kevin Owens versus Jay Uso was a great main event. It was a great match. They really did good. I like the fact that the story that they told was that no matter what Jay did, he couldn't keep Kevin Owens down. The whole, Kevin Owens' whole moniker is that fight Owens fight. And that's what he did. He fought through everything that Jay threw at him, and Jay could not keep him down. He hit Kevin Owens with so many super kicks, and even like a flying super kick at one point. And he could not keep Kevin Owens down. And despite distractions from the Bloodline, Kevin Owens would get the victory with a stunner to end the show. I think they ran out of time because soon as the referee counted to three, the end logo popped up at the little corner of the screen as the announcers had to like quickly shoot through their final little thing, and it just ended with Kevin Owens with his hand raised at the top of the ramp. Overall, this was this was a decent, good, okay episode of Monday Night Raw. Nothing too big happened on the show, but mainly just them ending feuds, and the biggest thing was that they ended some feuds and started new ones. So in this case, I'm gonna give it because the matches itself was good. I'm gonna give them a no. They didn't say was any matches. I had a problem with it. No, yeah. So I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10 big ups because it was a good one. It was a 7 worthy episode overall. But you let me know in the comments down below what you thought, and if you enjoyed this review, you hit this button right there in the upper right corner for all of my WWE reviews. And if you enjoyed this video so much and want to support the channel, all you gotta do is hit those buttons, guys. And as always, hit any one of these videos for more amazing content. Don't go anywhere. Got a whole bunch of reactions and gameplay coming up your way. Peace.